section, we'll focus on the most common injuries and accidents connected to the different working operations on board. In this section, we will also focus on the importance of reporting not only accidents, but also near accidents. Which part of the body do you think is most frequently injured? Click the buttons for the various jobs for more information about the most common injuries connected to that job. The most common injuries, accidents in connection with cargo handling are injuries from exposure to harmful substances, injuries from opening and closing hatches, injuries from entering closed rooms and tanks, injuries from hose handling, connecting work at manifolds. The most common injuries or accidents connected to working in the galley are cuts from knives, etc., injuries from slipping, burns from cooking, frostbites from working in cold store. The most common injuries, accidents connected with cleaning are injuries from slipping, injuries from solvents, etc., fingers jammed indoors. The most common injuries, accidents connected to corrosion protection are a foreign body in the eye, injuries from abrasive blasting, injuries from using chemicals or thinners, injuries from falling. The most common injuries or accidents connected to operating cranes and derricks are injuries from falling objects, injuries from uncontrolled operation of crane hooks, injuries from uncontrolled operation of winches. The most common injuries or accidents connected with mooring or anchoring are hands and legs jammed in uncoiled wires and ropes, injuries from incorrect use of rope and chain stoppers, injuries from incorrect operation of windlass and winches, burn injuries from steam winches, injuries from broken wires and ropes. The most common injuries, accidents connected to painting operations are injuries from falling, toxic injuries, injuries from high-pressure equipment, the most common injuries, accidents connected to tank cleaning operations are gas poisoning, injuries from falling, slipping, injuries from lack of oxygen. The most common injuries, accidents connected to work in the engine room are injuries from slipping, falling, burns from steam, hot oil, etc., burns from chemicals, ear damage caused by loud noise, head injuries from falling tools and objects. Other hazards connected to the safety of crew, environment and vessel are navigation, danger of grounding or collision, risk of explosion or fire, loss of engine and steering power, rough weather navigation. It is of the utmost importance that not only accidents but also near accidents are reported. The reason is obvious. There is a close connection between near accidents and serious or major injuries. Many of these accidents could be avoided if the near accidents had been reported. Section 2. The connection between near accidents and serious or major injury. Different types of accidents and injuries and how to avoid them. Chemical health hazards. Ergonomics. It was stated in the previous section that many of these accidents could have been avoided if the near accidents had been reported. A lot of these accidents can also be avoided if the correct protection equipment, safety clothing and safety procedures are used. The job of preventing injuries and accidents from happening can be categorized as follows. Information and training of the personnel. Ensuring that correct protective equipment is available and is used. Following up reports. Ensuring that correct routines for maintenance are followed. Click the buttons for more information about how to avoid or reduce the risk of getting injured. Avoid or reduce the risk of burns from steam, heated oil, boilers, etc. by using gloves, boiler suits and protective shoes suitable for the purpose. Avoid or reduce the risk of burns from cooking by being careful and observant. Avoid or reduce the risk of burns from chemicals by using gloves, special protective suits and protective shoes suitable for the purpose. Always use eye protection, like safety goggles or face screen, when working with chemicals, corrosion protection, painting or other maintenance operations. Use clothing suited for the climate you are working in. The parts of the body most likely to get frozen are hands and fingers, feet and toes, nose and ears. Do not protect your hands and feet with rags, but use the proper clothing available. Clothing suitable and necessary for working in cold climates is gloves, boots, boiler suits, jackets, face masks, always use a helmet when working on deck, in the engine room, in tanks or cargo holds. Use a face mask or other suitable breathing equipment and safety line when entering tanks and closed spaces where exposure to harmful substances is likely to occur. Never enter tanks without having a standby watch positioned at the tank hatch. Most injuries from falling are caused by falling from lower heights like ladders, rope ladders, stairs, etc. Falling from heights is often fatal. Always fasten the ladder. Use a safety belt, wire or rope when practical. Use a safety net when practical. Don't carry equipment, etc. in your hands when climbing ladders. Tools and equipment should be lowered or hoisted with a separate rope or in a container. Use safety equipment suited for the situation. And remember, this equipment is there to hinder injuries. To avoid injuries caused by slipping, always use the correct footwear with rubber soles. Painting the deck with skid-proof paint can also be a solution in areas where slipping is likely to happen. Remember to clean up small quantities of oil immediately. Many injuries to back and shoulders can be avoided by using suitable lifting equipment when available, using trolleys when possible, practicing correct lifting techniques. Use proper ear protection, like earplugs or ear pads, when working in loud noise environment. We can in general say that ear pads give the best protection against noise. To avoid injuries of this type, use gloves whenever possible. Be aware of the fact that this is the most common injury, so be careful. Always use protective boots or shoes when working on deck, in tanks, cargo holds, and engine room. There are different load factors that may influence you in how you do your work. Typical load factors are listed below. Click the buttons to learn more about the subjects. It is important to use correct lifting techniques to avoid injuries to back and shoulders. If the object is very heavy and/or warm, two persons have to carry the object between them. The consequence of incorrect lifting techniques can be as illustrated here. A tip for carrying objects with both hands is as follows. Some general principles for carrying are as listed. You should always protect your ears when exposed to loud noise. Typical situations are working in the engine room, but also when you are in contact with helicopters and other noisy machinery. It is important to have enough light when working. This applies also to your leisure time, for example when you are reading. Seafarers working on the bridge at night are especially in need of good night vision, and that the illumination is correct. When exposed to sudden bright light, it will take several minutes to adjust so that night vision is restored. This is dependent on the person's age, because older seafarers take longer to adjust. The shipping company and the management on board have a responsibility to keep a good environment on board. Welfare-related measures could be as listed. Television and video entertainment. Library containing different kinds of literature. Physical training equipment. CBT, computer-based training, giving you an opportunity to gain new knowledge and build up your competence. Seamen are to be protected from chemical health hazards. Where chemical substances are stored or used, the seaman is to be protected and be able to protect himself from accidents, injury, and particular discomfort, as well as the risk of long-term diseases. The risk of exposure to dangerous chemicals is not only from cargo, but also from chemicals that are in daily use. Some symptoms of injuries by exposure to chemicals are listed below. Exposure to chemicals may lead to delayed diseases.